This filthy motorcycle is a 2001 Honda Valkyrie Interstate. Common problem with these is the contacts in this switch get dirty, or the switch itself gets stiff and difficult to operate. I'm going to show you how to fix that. I'm going to start by loosening up the clutch master with 5mm Allen, just enough to get it out of the way. That will help immensely. Next step, removing this screw, JIS number 2, and where's the other one? It's around here somewhere. And this one. Got it open now. As you can see, there's your turn signal switch, cancel function. I've already pulled this out once, cleaned it up so it's moving smoothly. That's a lot of this. But since then, it's been a little while. I didn't go in and clean the contacts behind this that actually work the lights, and that's the issue today. We're going to pull that out. I'm going to show you what to do with that. We're going to start by pulling this screw out right here. Counting the screw, you're going to be removing 4 pieces. The screw, the washer that you can see, the switch lever, and there's a brass flange, I guess it's brass, underneath. You can see right there. Careful to keep up with all that. Fiddly little parts tend to hit the floor and disappear forever. Next step, pull these 2 screws out. And this piece here, that holds your wires out of the way, kind of keeps everything neat in there. So now we're down to the switch. I neglected to cancel the turn signal, so it's sitting there with the right turn signal on. I'm going to put that back in the middle and grab this piece here with the needle nose and pull that out. Yeah, it's got a little lubricant in it. Probably got put in there when I cleaned the liver, but we're still having an issue. We're going to spread this open a little bit, and that's going to pop loose. Be gentle with this. It's plastic, especially if it's cold. I'm going to pop that one out, pull on it a little bit. Come on. Want to be gentle with it, but this stuff comes apart pretty easily. Okay, well, careful not to drop stuff. There's the contacts on this side. There's the little housing that holds it all together. It is filthy. This little ball has a spring behind it. That's what you feel when you click your switch back and forth. And then here are the contacts. And as you can see, they're a little corroded and nasty looking. Especially the top ones. So from here, I'm going to spray a little brake clean on a rag. Just a little bit. And I'm going to clean the lubricant off of that, shine it up a little bit. That already looks much better. Just for good measure, I'm going to come in with a fine, kind of soft wire brush. I think this is stainless, and clean that up a little bit. Of course, make sure that your ignition is turned off. Don't want power to any of this. You'll have lights doing all sorts of crazy things. We've got that nice and cleaned up. I'm going to blow it off with the air compressor off camera. That makes a horrible noise, kind of like dropping your brake clean. And here's all the pieces laid out. Here's the little brass flange I told you about earlier. It's still got a little bit of fresh lubricant on it, and that'll help hold it in place. That lubricant is this ancient tube of dielectric grease. Works really well. Washer goes on top, and that grease makes it all stick together pretty well. And then this screw goes through here. That screw will eventually go back in this plate. I'm going to set that aside for now. I'm going to clean the plate up with a rag over here in this pile of stuff. We'll put a little more lubricant on that when we're done. That is, well, I didn't do a very good job cleaning that up last time. No wonder I'm having trouble with this. All right. Set that aside. Now, outer housing, same thing. There's the old lubricant. It's kind of gotten hard in there. That causes problems too. So I'm going to spray this piece out with a little bit of brake clean over here, so I don't get it all over myself, my work. There's probably a better way to do that. This works pretty well. Rag. All right, that's pretty good. The little ball-loaded spring is moving nicely. We'll set that aside. Now we're going to move on to this doohickey. Note the orientation of the contact. This one can be flipped over and go in upside down. That just messes all sorts of things up. All right, so this is the part of the switch that moves. I got my super fancy Harbor Freight pick. Be careful not to get into the springs under there. Spring. Well, that's not one to come out. I'm going to push it out from this side. Maybe. There we go. Do this on a towel because this stuff tends to bounce on hard surfaces. This helps keep up with these tiny little bits and bobs. This is usually stuck when I open these up. This one seems to be moving okay. No, not really. It's sticky. It's mainly hanging up on this side. Yeah, and there's lots of goo in there. I'll explain why. That is what the old factory lubrication turns into after 20 or so years. And that's why we have this problem. Overall, though, I think it's a pretty solid design, and it works well, and it is serviceable, as you can see. You can get that little ornery thing out of there. Alright, that one's loose. Pull the spring out. Be careful with that. If you pull on it a little bit and it doesn't want to come easily, you might want to get a little solvent in there and break some of that old stuff up, the goo, to let it come out. Otherwise you'll stretch that thing out and it won't work quite right. But that looks good. So here are our individual pieces of that, and I'm going to clean them up once again with the brake clean. Well, now this is looking pretty good. It's nice and clean. The ball moves freely. That ball helps center this into those notches right there. Clicks into place. Nice satisfying click, and gets it right in the position that it needs to be. We're going to move on to these copper contacts. I started wiping this one down. You can see the goo on this one. That's the one that's really problematic right there, because it is so small, and it doesn't take a lot of gunk to impede the movement of this thing in a way, cause problems. So I'm going to hit it with the brake clean, good old brake clean, and get it cleaned up, and then I'm going to shine it up a little bit with the wire brush. Okay, we've de-gooed it. Yeah, pretty well. On these legs here, inside and out, that's where the problem is going to be, that it can't move. So I'm going to gently shine this up with the wire brush. Also get my fingers clean while I'm at it, just on the end there. Ah, look at that. That looks great. Same treatment for this one. Looks good. Now our contacts are clean. You'll recall that we took care of the ones on the bike a while ago. Now we're going to start putting this back together. Probably with some needle nose pliers because, oh, those are cutters. I wonder where my needle nose go. These aren't super rusty. Alright. The smaller spring goes on the smaller contact. Boop. Doesn't matter which way this goes because it is the same either way. And look at that. Now it's moving freely, doing what it's supposed to do. And it will kind of tend to run away on you, but it's okay if it looks like that for right now. Next, with the other spring, back there, the larger contact with the single bump pointing towards the top of the switch, or the smaller one. Yeah, it's moving well too. The spring's doing its job. Now, some dielectric grease. Use this sparingly. A little of this is great. It lubricates, it kind of protects from corrosion. But too much of it, and it gets all over the place, makes a big mess. But it is great to get down in here with these and lubricate these just a little bit where they can continue to move freely. A little bit more. And this whole thing moves. We'll get a little on the bottom. Put a little on the top here because that is in contact with this. Those go right in there. When you push this in, it hits that little triangle there and centers this, and that's how you cancel. Click, click. And, yeah, pretty straightforward. All right. Get this piece, putting a little dielectric grease in there because I could have got that a little cleaner. Nobody wants to take this apart and look at it, so we'll be all right. And that will also help hold this in place while you can put it back together. All right, so this was already pretty clean, but you can wire brush all these parts also and then put a little of this lubricant on them, and that'll help this thing work smoothly. If you use a wire wheel like on a bench grinder, be gentle with it, because if this gets the slightest bit out of shape, it binds a little bit and it doesn't have that smooth Honda awesomeness feel to it when you use it. So you want to keep that straight and be gentle with it when you're cleaning it. Alright, so we're back over here at the motorcycle with our little pieces. I'm going to put the tiniest little bit, little coating of dielectric grease on these contacts. Then I'm going to wipe my finger on my britches, or my pants for those of you north of me. I'm going to snap this in place like that. Click. Oh, that's back together. Push this back in here. I didn't address this choke cable. Be gentle with that. If you can see here, let me get the camera on it, maybe. It's got a little hole for that to go in, and then when this pulls around, it wraps around there. That's pretty simple, but if you get too rough with it, you can break this little piece of plastic and screw things up. This one's in pretty good shape so far. So far I haven't broken anything. Yeah, let's get this back in place. It is time. Thank you, sausage fingers. All right. Now, this piece is next in this orientation. Screw holes line up. And in this bit that holds the wires out of the way, I had to go get a pair of needle nose. I could get this tiny little screw back in the hole. Because my sausage fingers won't let me get it done. Alright, get that screw started. Goes through both layers, as you can see. Now I don't want to tighten it up because I want to be able to shift this other piece if I need to. Well, that went well. Get my hand out of the way. Alright, I can tighten that down, go back, cinch this one. Alright, so I've got this piece stacked together. The brass flange washer on the bottom, the regular flat washer on top, and the screw all the way through it. Those are just held together right now with a thin layer of dielectric grease. This pushes into the ball that we looked at earlier. Just a little bit, make sure it goes in there because that's where it has to go. If you put it on top of that and tighten it down, it will bend your lever and then it'll never work right. So I can figure out where that hole is. Okay. Felt it try to engage. Tighten that down, and it does cinch down. The flange leaves enough space for the lever to move. And there we have it. Now, we can test it. Ignition on. Right turn signal. Man, look at that. Left turn signal. And cancel. Perfect. Okay. I've moved the clutch master up the handlebars a little more to give myself a little more room here so I can get the choke cable engaged once again with the choke lever. Gently, as I mentioned before. Might be a job for the needle nose again. You can push that barrel into that hole, pull it through, and put a little tension on this. Flip that back around. Oh, it came out. Mercy. Try that again. Not quite ready to yell at it just yet. I'm going to pull that, holding tension on it. Get that lined up where that flange on the lever goes to the outside there. I think, is that right? Huh. Oh. There we go. Now that is engaged. Get out of the way, you. All right. And this goes back under there like so. Now, there's an alignment pin that matches up to a hole in the handlebars. Well, one of these. Where is it? Let's have a look. It's going to be on the bottom one. Now, I should have looked at it, but I know it's there, so I'm going to feel around for it until I find it. There it goes. When it does that, it clicks into place. This crack closes up. That brings us to the screws. The longer of the two screws goes on the inside right here. Go ahead. Now that you have everything aligned and it's still in place, you see that the crack is closed. Well, see that the crack is closed. Go ahead, contrary to what I said earlier, and tighten this one all the way down. All right, that pulls these two together. This one goes around the other side, right up here, and then you can tighten that one down. All right. Choke feels good. You can see it engaging the cable here. One more test, just because, just because. All right turn signal, cancel. Left turn signal, cancel. It feels great. Feels like a new one, like it should. Then pull this clutch master back in place. I like to climb up on the bike and put it where it feels good to me before I clamp it back down with that 5mm Allen, and you're all set.